Now we got water rain. Yeah. And then there's other places got just a sprinkle, like 5 miles away.
Being at 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the Tuesday, June 18th, Common Council meeting to order. Can we stand for the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, roll has been taken.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to adoption of the agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Boucher, seconded by Mr. Dorsey to adopt the agenda. Any additions or subtractions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is looking for the approval of the May 21st Common Council minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Besaw to approval of the May 21st, 2024 Common Council meeting minutes. Any additions or subtractions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, Mr. Dorsey, authorized to pay the bills.
Yes, Your Honor. I make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $1,131,022.05.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, second by Mr. Barrington to authorize to pay bills in an amount of $1,131 or $131,022.05. Any other discussion? Cast your ballot, please. Motion carried 10-0. Public comment. Anybody have any public comment?
I just wanted to come and introduce myself. My name is Mary Keene, and I am running for the Register of Deeds position for Waupaca County. This position has been on my radar for quite some time, and I think that with the retirement of Mike Mazemke, this is the perfect opportunity for some positive energy and a new perspective and a change in Waupaca County, and a change that would be beneficial, I think, to that office and to the county as well. A little background on me. I currently work in the Register of Deeds office for Allegheny County. I have been there for over 11 years, and seven and a half of that have been as deputy register. So I'm able to do the same the same things that the register can do. I have an extensive background in like the real estate side of the office. I started as a title searcher many years ago. I worked for Evans Title in Waupaca. I got my title examiner's license and then went on to be an independent abstractor doing title searches for national and local title companies. And after that is when I got my position for Allegheny County. So I'm very familiar with the records in like even in Waupaca County. That was one of the counties that I did searches for, as well as surrounding counties. Another big part of our office is vital records, your birth, marriage, and death certificates. I'm very familiar with the State Vital Records Office policies and procedures on intake and issuance of those records. Being that all registered deeds offices have to follow the same state statutes, I think it would be an easy transition for me to go into that office. I have actually gone to a couple of other registered deeds offices and trained their acting registers. They lost their registers midterm and need somebody to train, so I helped in doing that. I have been a resident of the village of Fremont most of my life. I grew up on a fishing resort there. And I'm just, my son, my kids went to school right here in New London. My son played football on the football team here. He was quarterback for a few years. I would like to bring my knowledge and experience back home to my county. So, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I usually like to stay for the meetings. I do have a prior commitment, and I do have to get up early. I'm going to the Wisconsin Registered Deeds Association, state conference in the morning. So, I do have flyers and cards that I can leave. I have my emails on there. I have a website if you want more information. And you can also follow me on Facebook. All that information's on there. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the standing and special committees. Board of Public Works, Mr. Barrington.
Board of Public Works met on Monday, June 3rd, 2024. Meeting called to order at 5:15. After the Pledge of Allegiance, no changes to the agenda. Motion made and seconded to approve, passed 9-0. There was no public input. Motion was made and seconded to approve the minutes of May 6, 2024. Motion carried 9-0. Wastewater treatment plant update. The notes were included in the packet. The next was to approve and recommend to council a contract with Donahue for preliminary compliance alternate plan. Donahue's proposal for the preliminary compliance alternate plan was presented to the board. The cost of the plan is $66,555. This is the first step for facility amendment plan, which is needed for wastewater plant upgrade. They consider the needs to meet current and future DNR regulations and growth the city may incur, residential and industrial. Current goal is related to phosphates and becoming compliant by 2029. Motion made and seconded to bring this to council. Motion carried 9-0. We brought to council tonight. The next was to approve and recommend to council wastewater treatment plant CMAR resolution. A copy of the compliance maintenance annual report was available for review in the Public Works packet. This is an annual requirement submitted to the DNR. There were no questions from the committee. Motion made and seconded to bring this to council, passed 9-0, will be brought to council tonight. The next was to review bid tabulation and recommended contract awarded for 2024 asphalt work to MCC Incorporated. Director Garsky brought to committee the bids received for surface asphalt of State Street, St. John's, Lincoln Court, and a new parking lot. The paving patch program was also included in the bid. This allowed for some larger stretches to be included, such as Lawrence Street and Wolf River Avenue intersection and 2 sections of Roland Street. The low bid, $140,889.66. Motion was made and seconded, passed 9-0. The next was to approve and recommend to council brush and yard waste agreement with the town of Caledonia. Director Garsky brought to the committee the approved contract by the town of Caledonia for the use of brush and waste drop-off site. The contract will start July 1st and go through December 31st, 2024. A monthly fee in the amount of $425 will be collected from the township fee and the residents, and the residents will be required to purchase a key card and annual sticker for access to the site. Motion made and seconded to recommend to council, carried 9-0. The next was the director's report. Director's memo is included in the agenda packet reviewed by the board. Anniversaries this month: Ivan Casterjon, street operator, 3 years of service. Director Garsky provided an update on downtown project. Public information meeting on Thursday, July 6, 2024 at 5 o'clock for House and Alcan Road project in the council chambers. Future agenda. Citywide garbage collection services, bulk and overflow pickup. The next public works meeting will be July 1st at 5:15. There being no further discussion, meeting was adjourned at 5:44. I make a motion to consider for approval the agreement with Donahue for preliminary compliance alternate plan.
Motion. Was that?
Herder.
Motion made by Mr. Barrington, second by Mr. Herder. Any further discussion? Cast your ballot. Motion carried 10-0.
I make a motion to approve and recommend to council the wastewater treatment CMAR resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barrington, seconded by Mr. Besaw. Any other discussion? Please cast your ballot. Motion carried 10-0.
I recommend the council contracts with MCC Incorporated for asphalt work for 2024 in amount of $140,889.66.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barrington, seconded by Mr. Herder. Any other discussion? Please cast your ballot. Motion carried 10-0.
I make a motion to approve council a yard waste agreement with the town of Caledonia starting July 1st to December 31st. Monthly fee of $425.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barrington, seconded by Mr. Besaw. Any other discussion? Please cast your ballot. Motion carried 9-1.
That is all I have to make, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Barrington. Moving on to finance and personal.
Yes, Your Honor, Finance Personnel Committee met Wednesday, June 5th. Meeting was called to order at 5:15. Motion was made by Roberts, second by Shade, to approve the May 8th, 2024 meeting minutes. There was no public comment. Financial Director Adke and Investment Advisors Lund Cooley and Corey Temple led a presentation on the City of New London Edward Jones investment. After questions and answers of the portfolio, the motion was made by Pache, seconded by Roberts to direct Finance Director Radke to work with the financial advisors and to recommend the council to proceed with the utilization of approximately 5% of the portfolio as a revenue source to apply to the budget process. That carried 8-0. Financial Director's reports are presented. The Finance Director's report was discussed. There being no further business, meeting was called at 5:55. The next Finance Personnel Committee meeting will be held in council chambers on July 3rd at 5:15. Make a motion to approve the annual license list per the police department's recommendation.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Ms. Bogowski. Any other discussion? Please cast your ballot. Motion carried 10-0.
Make a motion to authorization to utilizing approximately 5% of the Edward Jones investment portfolio as a revenue source to apply to the budget.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Fache. Any other discussion? Please cast your ballot. Motion carried 10-0.
That is all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Moving on to Parks and Recreation, Mr. Besaw.
Thank you, Your Honor. Park and Rec Committee had a special meeting on Tuesday, May 21st. Meeting was called to order at 6:30 in council chambers. The agenda was voted on and approved, present carried 8-0. There was a recommendation to there was a recommendation made to council. The resolution authorizing the submittal of an application toward the Wisconsin DNR grant for the purpose of developing a courtesy dock and improvement parking at Riverside Park. Motion carried 8-0. That'll be brought to council. Next was approval to execute and filing the required FY 2024 Federal Transit Administration certifications and assurances. That carried 8-0. That'll be also brought to council. There being no other further business, the park meeting adjourned at 6:33. I would make a motion to approve the recommendation to council, a resolution authorizing the submittal of an application toward the Wisconsin DNR grant for the purpose of developing a courtesy dock and improved parking at Riverside Park.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Besaw,
That came to council on Tuesday, May 21st, following that special meeting. So those two have already been approved.
So that don't go till the council meeting?
It already has.
already has. Let's just move on to the 6-3 minutes.
So we just go to the meeting adjourned then at 6:33?
Yep.
You can read the minutes from June 3rd now.
Park and Rec Committee met on Monday, June 3rd. Meeting was called to order at 5:48. Motion was made and second to approve the April 8th, 2024 meeting minutes. Motion carried 8-0. John Fache abstained from voting. Public input, there was none. Consider an approval Riverside Park Bait Shop lease agreement. Director Saul brought the agreement back to committee due to changes with taxation and insurance coverage. For the elimination of the personal property tax from the state for businesses, the property itself was assessed by Survey Group. In the agreement, this was paid by the city and then will be reimbursed to the city of New London by the business owner. There's also been a recommendation of an increase in liability coverage by the cities and villages mutual insurance company, CIVMIC, from $1 million to $2 million policy. John Fache did advise the committee that the current coverage was sufficient and met those requirements. Motion was made to consider approval of the contract with Riverside Park and made. Motion carried 8-0. John Fache was attending the meeting as a citizen member and did not vote. Director report was included in the agenda pack and reviewed by the committee. Additional comments noted as follows. Grant submitted to the DNR for the overflow dock and courtesy parking for 50% of the total project estimated cost in the amount of $211,585.94. May 24th, 2024, William H. Hatton Recreation Park has been designated as a Wisconsin Historical Site and is now in review for the National Register. Working on getting the Berniger Riverwalk piers in and working with S.C. Sodorsky, mowing procedures were reviewed and concerns relating to wear and tear were addressed. Several options have been implemented to diminish the amount of time the mowers going back and forth to the maintenance building were stored. Hatton Stadium still need the final step coating for the seating. Weather has been recent factor delaying this part of the project. New London Youth Baseball donated an AED for use at Pfeiffer Park, cost $2,018. Anniversaries, Devin Justno, 9 years, total 4 years, full-time parks caretaker. Chairman's report was none. Next Park and Rec meeting will be Tuesday, July 2nd at 5:15. Motion was made to adjourn. Meeting was adjourned at 6:16. John Fache abstained from voting. I would make a motion to consider approval of the Riverside Bait Park Shop lease agreement.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Besaw, seconded by Mr. Dorsey. Any other discussion? Please cast your ballot. Abstain.
Perfect,
Yep.
Linda.
Motion carried 9-1, one abstention. Mr. Fache.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bisson. Moving on to Planning Commission, Mr. Ritchie.
Planning Commission met May 23rd at 5:15. Group participated in the Pledge of Allegiance. A motion was made by Steingraber to adopt the agenda. March 28th, 2024 minutes were reviewed. Motion was made by Steingraber to accept the minutes as read. The item on the agenda was to review, to approve or deny the front yard fence request for 1200 Nassau Street. After some brief discussion, a motion was made by Mayor Herder to approve the request based on the site plan provided. Second item on the agenda was to review or deny a front yard fence request for 812 Cheyenne Street. A brief discussion and motion was made to approve the request based on the site plan provided. Mayor Herder made the motion. Third item on the agenda was to approve a site plan review and a site plan for 1705 Wilshire Drive. The site is proposed to construct a mini storage facilities. The zoning administrator had previously reviewed the proposal and based on a language in the ordinance and adherence to same recommendation of approve for the project to move forward. A motion was made by Gabriel to approve the site plan. Fourth item on the agenda was to review a site plan proposal for 2 new additions to existing buildings at 406 Mill Street. The property is owned by Hilker Trucking and they require additional space for storage. The zoning administrator recommended approving based on adherence to the zoning requirements. A motion was made to approve the site plan. At this next item is at this point in the meeting, the discussion was turned over to representative from Vandy Wall Associates to lead in the discussion about the process to rewrite the zoning ordinance. Timelines were discussed, procedures on how to move the project forward, and seek information from the Planning Commission on various topics covered in the ordinance. A motion was made by Gaber to adjourn the meeting at 6:39. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. We're on Economic Development Committee, Ms. Croy.
The Economic Development Committee meeting was held Tuesday, May 28th. And it was called to order at 5:15. There was a motion to approve the agenda as presented, and that carried 10-all. The April 23rd, 2024 minutes were reviewed. Motion to approve as presented, carried by all. There was no public comment provided. Due to a scheduling conflict, the business highlight presentation was postponed to a future meeting. Fourth provided an update on the status of reserving ad space on a digital billboard owned by Lamar on Highway 15 in Greenville. Out of the 8 available spaces, Fourth successfully reserved 5 full weeks and 2 partial weeks from November 11th through December 8th of 2024 at a rate of $150 per week. Despite minimal promotion, several organizations have already expressed interest in participating in the program. The next step is to devise a theme for the city's advertisement. The committee has expressed interest in a general theme centered around New London, possibly highlighting the newly renovated downtown area. Horth will convey this feedback to Lamar's design team and develop suitable options. The committee reviewed a proposal by Ehlers and Associates to complete a feasibility analysis, create project plans, and submit necessary paperwork to the state for the creation of a new TID district, number 7, on the north side of the city and extend the boundaries of TID number 5. The purpose of the new TID on the north side would be near the new Aldi store and to install necessary public infrastructure to support continued commercial development in the area. The request to extend TID number 5 is from a developer with a proposal to build 2 six-plex apartment complexes, one of which would house first-floor retail space. The developer is citing the need for TID assistance to make the project financially possible. A motion was made that council considers hiring Ehlers and Associates to develop project plans for the creation of a 7th TID district on the north side of New London and modified the boundaries of TID number 5. That motion carried 10-0. There was no chamber director's business report for the month. The city administrator's report was a downtown summit that Chad and April attended in Wausau on May 21st and reminded the committee about public groundbreaking event on June 18th at 1 p.m. by S.C. Swiderski for the new Riverfront apartment complex. Future agenda items were discussed. The committee anticipates holding the next meeting on Tuesday, June 25th at 5:15. Motion was made to adjourn at 6:01, is carried by all. Your Honor, I would like to make a motion to approve the agreement with Ehlers for the TID project plans.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Kreis, seconded by Mr. Roberts. Any other discussion on that? Please cast your ballot. Motion carried 10-0.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Cray. Moving on to minutes and reports distributed. They will stand as read in your packet. Next is reports of officers on recent events and announcements to the public. City Administrator, Mr. Hurd.
Thank you, Your Honor. Two quick things. Today, the SC Swiderski had their groundbreaking event for their new apartment complex. It was well attended. I was asked after the event about timelines now that the groundbreaking event did happen. They plan on starting construction in the second week in July. And now with their timing, with the way it's set right now, they anticipate completion at the end of 2025 for that project. So again, starting second week in July, ending in 2025. And then we've also been getting more people coming to the office or calling, asking about recycling carts, especially when people are moving into an older home or moving into a new home that doesn't have a recycling cart. So we just want to kind of put some information out there for the public. When the original program started, the recycling carts were assessed to those properties. The intention is that those recycling carts stay with the property and don't leave with the property if someone moves out. So what's going on is some people are taking it with them and know that that cart was assessed to that property and should stay with the property. And then if someone's moving into a new home, yes, they would have to come to the Public Works office and then purchase a new cart for the service. The service is provided by Outagamie County. There's no charge for that, but the carts are charged and they were assessed originally. And then if anybody's had any questions about that or need to purchase this cart, again, they can contact us at the Public Works Department. And that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Hurd. Moving on to Chief of Police, Mr. Schleter.
Thank you, Your Honor. All I got tonight is 1 anniversary, Katie Hermes, 1 year. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schleter. Next, Director of Public Works, Mr. Garsky.
Thank you, Your Honor. Downtown update for construction. Now that both lanes are paved downtown, construction has switched to sidewalk work. They are starting on the north side of the street at the intersection of Shawano and North Water and working east block to block. They have finished pouring the final light base in the intersection today. They also paved the tie-in at the intersection this morning early. They are still hoping to have the intersection open by the July 4th deadline. The only hangup right now would be the traffic light poles and control boxes, still have not come in. But judging by what I've heard from the contractor so far is that they'll do everything they can to make sure that intersection is open by the deadline. Also, within the next month, the intersection of Mill and Beacon will become a standard three-way stop intersection. I asked Outagamie County to do a formal review of the intersection because of the calls I was receiving about the near-miss traffic accidents at that intersection. It was their recommendation and my agreement that discontinuing the right turn no stop for eastbound Beacon Avenue would prevent further confusion at this intersection, especially for traffic from out of town. This intersection will play a crucial role in the Highway 45 bypass that will happen later this year, as all Highway 45 traffic will be detoured onto Mill Street, to Wolf River Avenue, to Shawano Street, to Highway 54 and back onto 45. And this will reverse for southbound 45 traffic. Highway 45 has to close at the railroad crossing for rebuilding as part of the Highway 15 project. And that is all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Thanks, Mr. Garsky. Moving on to Director of Parks and Recreation, Ms. Sol.
Thank you, Your Honor. Camp Hatton is in full swing, but it isn't too late to sign up. Children ages 5 to 12 are welcome for full days, half days, or we offer discounts if you sign up for the full week. Just call our office at least a week in advance to get signed up for that. And then Festival Foods will once again be sponsoring the 4th of July fireworks inside of Hatton Stadium. The gates open at 6:30 p.m. There will be a DJ, concessions, and the rec staff will be there with kids games. So come down and have some fun. The show starts at dusk. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sol. Moving on to the Fire Department, Mr. Ritchie.
We have one anniversary to recognize for Chris Yarich. He's got 2 years on the department.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. Last, let's move on to Utility Manager, Mr. Bessent.
Thank you, Your Honor. We had a water main break at 1370 North Shawano Street on June 12th. Our crews made that repair that same day. We anticipated a possible leak. We had took Orville Tower in the North Industrial Park out of service for interior and exterior painting. With that tower out of service, we had to maintain pressure with our North booster station, and anytime we change pressure in our system, we have a risk for a leak. I'd also like to thank the city for the use of their vac truck. Our crew could not have performed that excavation and repair without the use of that truck. So appreciate that. I'll be requesting a special meeting of the council on July 31st to approve the safe drinking water loan closing from the Department of Natural Resources. I have to request this meeting because the DNR is understaffed and having difficulty meeting our other meeting dates. The other option was to extend the interim financing for a month, which for obvious cost reasons, we did not want to do. I'll ask Chad and talk to Nicole as well, reach out to you for what time for that meeting would work best. And I also anticipate that meeting lasting about 5 minutes. Our electric crews are replacing a pole at Oshkosh and Beacon Street, and they're also working on some underground services. Our water crews are replacing lead services. They're almost up to completing 60 of those on the year so far. And then last, I'd like to recognize Josh Fassbender for 3 years of service with the utility. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bessent. Just like to wish everybody safe and happy 4th of July, and let's pray for some good weather. Anything else? If nothing, I will look for adjournment. Motion made by Ms. Croy, second by Mr. Besaw for adjournment. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.